Hey, good morning, y'all. Welcome to Sidewinder Shed. It's Sunday, January 5th, 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everyone had a good holiday. Hope y'all have a good New Year. Um, it's cold. It is cold. It's in the upper teens right now. And I'm on the back porch, and although I got the little heaters going, dryer being one, it's still only about 10 degrees warmer on the back porch. So it's still a little bit below freezing right now on the back porch. It'll warm up in a bit. I just got everything going here. And so why am I on the back porch in below freezing temperatures? It's because the wife doesn't let me smoke in the house when she's home today. So unlike last time where I could sneak a smoke and be warm and comfortable in the kitchen. Not happening today. But anyway, got a cup of hot chocolate. I've already had too many coffees, so we'll go with the sugar high. We'll go with the sugar high instead of the caffeine high. And I don't know what happened. Everything here just froze up. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because it's too cold. Hey, Philip. Hey, buddy. I'm going to add you right now.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, buddy. It's good to see you. How you been?
Good. Yeah, I was listening to you. It's pretty cold up there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hence,
Mhm.
big jacket and everything right now. It's
And imagine me sitting here in a t-shirt.
oh, good lord. Hey, and Eric is here. Hey,
Yeah,
Eric. Good evening. I think I'm still trying to figure out the time difference, but man,
I can't see. Let me grab my other device here so I can
all right,
monitor.
all right, no problem. Yeah, yeah. I got my heavy jacket on. Like I said, it's in the upper teens Fahrenheit, so we're in the negative Celsius degrees here. And inside the porch right now, because I just started the heaters, it's probably right around 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's why I'm bundled up, Eric.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, I got you now.
Did you get
Uh,
moved and everything?
yeah, yeah, I'm running a place now. Uh, Ironically enough, just down the street from where I was living. So,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah, my plan was to there's a property that was next door to mine that was kind of a, I shouldn't say abandoned property, just vacant. And my intent was to lease that land and because it's got a real nice big barn on it with a concrete floor, and start a shop and just
Oh
be like
yeah.
a tiny house kind of thing. And but that's proven to be a little bit more difficult than what I expected it to be. But so it's going slow, but it'll go.
I
So
gotcha.
enough about me. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there. Yeah, I saw you. You saw my video driving the truck
Yeah, yeah,
yesterday.
I seen that.
Saw that this
Yeah,
morning. Well,
I
I
had to
ran.
come up with a couple of witty comments.
Yeah, but yeah, when I got it home, I pulled the transmission pan off of it,
Yeah.
and I did find a problem. Now,
Mm.
it's the same issue now. Ever since I had that truck, it was a little bit iffy going into reverse, and it was slow going into reverse, and then it didn't really want to grab. And then when I took it apart, because I had to fix the overdrive unit,
Uh-huh.
I noticed that the reverse band was pretty much wiped out. Okay,
Mm.
so I went ahead, I rebuilt the transmission, and put 500 miles on it. And next thing I know, the reverse band and the drum, the first reverse drum, got wiped out because somehow the there's a little wedge that holds that reverse band in place,
Uh-huh.
and that had come out. That was sitting in the bottom of the transmission pan. So I replaced all the
Right.
bad parts, put it back together, waited 11 weeks on a new damn torque converter, which I ended up getting two. One that I really didn't want, but I'm using it right now.
Mhm.
But so I ran it for the last 2 weeks here, actually about 14 days, no, 18 days. I'm sorry, 18 days, just back and forth around, about 10 miles at a time. And I decided to pull the pan and check it. And I'll be damned if that reverse band ain't loose again, and I
Huh.
can't really see where the wedge is because you can't the way that transmission's designed.
All right.
While it's in the vehicle, anyway, I can't see what's going on with the wedge, and even if I could, there's no way I can get my hands in there to straighten it out to do anything with it. I even
Mhm.
dropped I even pulled out the valve body so I could get a better look. But
Mhm.
I'm starting to think since this is the third time, and it had a previous problem with it, ever since I got it.
All
I'm
right.
starting to think that there's an issue there, and it's not just me being an idiot and not knowing what I'm doing. Um, I
Are
just
you
don't.
sure?
Well, it could be both. Yes, because here's the thing. I don't have enough experience or anything to have ever run into a problem like this, or know what the cause might be. So for now, I put everything back together because it still does go forward and backwards, and I'm not going to be driving it, but I didn't want it sitting in the driveway where I can't move it at all. So for
Right.
now, I put everything back together. And when the weather warms up, because now it's finally getting cold, when the weather warms up, that's when I'll decide what I'm going to do. I'm really leaning towards, this thing has kicked my ass. It beat me. So I'm really leaning towards just buying a rebuilt transmission for it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to have this one rebuilt because I'm not even going to take the core charge. I'll pay for the core charge because I'm going to keep this transmission
All right.
because I'm going to do exactly what I said earlier. I'm going to plant that thing behind the shed and we're going to use it as a pisser. We're going to use it as a urinal. I'm not even going to take the parts out of it. I'm just for the rest of its life, the rest of my life, I'm going to piss in that damn thing. That's
Well,
all there is to it.
um, I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again, that I was once in the market for a new transmission, or well, a remanufactured one. And at the time, the company Powertrain Product uh, uh, was able to get me one, and they're pretty good at remanufacturing transmissions, and they got transmissions for just about everything that you'd ever want. In
Yep.
fact, that 700 R4 trans that I have, I don't know if it's any good or not, but I'm
I
hanging
get.
on to it because it's a core deposit, is what it is. I
Yep.
can just call up Powertrain Products and tell them send me a 700 R4, and they'll be like, okay, we'll want our core, sure, here you go,
Oh, I got you,
and
man.
they're pretty fair priced, compared. Because I know this much: if you were to go with other companies like that build performance transmissions or something, man, you're just going to pay a ton of money. The
Yeah.
Powertrain Products, I had to do the research, because I was on a budget, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I had to find the best price that I could, and Powertrain Products was the place where I got the best price on a good transmission,
As
you
a
know.
matter of fact, yesterday I was looking at them online,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, they're about well, for the complete transmission with the overdrive unit,
Uh-huh.
they're running about $800 below, these
Less.
other ones with the shift kits and stuff, and then they go all the way up to $6,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and here
I
I'm
don't know
only
what they I don't know what they get for your transmission now,
they're getting
but
about.
I can guarantee you that it'll be either at or below the fair market value price for a remanufactured transmission, So
Yeah, for everything with the overdrive included and a torque converter, They're wanting about 2,400, and of course it's a $600 core charge.
Right.
But I want to call them and talk to them because I don't need another torque converter,
Yeah.
and I don't really need the overdrive unit.
I'll tell you what, I even have their phone number saved in my phone. What I'll do is I'll text you their phone number so that you can talk to them over the
Awesome,
phone.
awesome. I'd
Mhm.
appreciate that.
I'll do that. Matter of fact, I could probably do that right now.
I got
Well,
you.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll do it after the show.
All
I don't
right.
want to break my attention from the show here. But yeah, getting back to the weather for just a minute. It's nice right now. It's a little overcasted and it was sprinkling a little bit, but we're not going to escape that cold weather that you guys are having. We're expecting it to get well below freezing tonight, and you know that's a concern with around here with the your water pipes freezing and
Oh my
stuff.
God. Yes. Yeah, I
And it's
understand
supposed to
that.
stay cold all week. So,
Yep.
a lot of these Floridians, they're going to be bundled up just like you are.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Tonight, overnight, they're calling for snow, and I hate Virginia about calling for snow because they never get it right. But
Yeah.
just in the Richmond area, it could be anywhere from what they're saying right now, 3 to 6 inches, which for Virginia is a lot. But again, knowing their ability to forecast, it could be anywhere from nothing to about 2.5 feet. It just it.
Do I dare say the old joke about sex is like snow? Or
Yeah,
should
go
I
ahead.
leave that one
Yeah.
out? Or do
No,
you
go
already
ahead.
know that one?
Go ahead. I don't know. I can't answer
Well,
that. I don't know.
uh, snow is like sex. You never know how many inches you're going to get or how long it's going to last.
Oh, yep, yep. There you go. There you go. But yeah, we're supposed to get snow overnight, which is okay for me because I don't have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, and then we're supposed to get snow again on Thursday.
Well,
So yeah, that's another reason why I'm not messing
well,
with the truck right now. I'm not going to pull that transmission. I'm not going to do jack with it.
we're going to get what's going to happen is in the overnight tonight and into the morning, there's going to be a weather front that's going to move through, and right on that boundary line is rain. So we're going to get rain in the overnight, early morning,
Yep.
and then once that rain moves out, the cold air is coming in behind it, and that's going to be worse because that cold air is going to get to freezing, and everything's going to be wet.
Yep.
These Floridians don't know how to drive on icy roads, man.
Yep.
I'm predicting, I'm predicting what the local television stations news reports are going to be on Tuesday, and that's all of these car crashes because people are trying to drive on icy roads.
Yep. I got you. Yeah, that's the problem we're going to run into Tuesday.
Yep.
Because that snow is not going to stay snow all
Mhm.
day Monday. It's going to turn to rain, so that means it's going to warm up. You're going to have a layer of snow. The ground's going to be cold, and then it's going to start to melt, and
Yeah.
then it'll freeze. So Tuesday, I imagine Tuesday is going to be worse than
Yeah.
tomorrow, just for the simple fact that it'll be nothing but ice.
Have you been having cold weather the whole time to make the ground cold?
This last week, it's only been a week, so that's why I say it's kind of a iffy thing. But
So
the
the ground's
last
not frozen per se, right?
right, not just yet. It's almost there. By
No.
Thursday, because we're not going to get above freezing really.
Because that's the
But
thing here. The ground here is always warm, so anything that hits the ground doesn't stick around long.
right,
But I haven't seen snow here since, I don't know, maybe 2007, 2008, somewhere around there.
I got you.
But I told you that story about the fellow that was my neighbor that he drove up to Andalusia, Alabama, which is only about an hour's drive north, and loaded his pickup truck full of snow and drove it down here.
Oh God, yes, yep. You did, yep. Yeah, I don't miss. I'm from New England originally, and to be honest
Yeah,
with you, I don't miss the snow that much.
I don't miss it either.
And last week and the week before, uh, for Christmas and New Year's,
Mhm.
that's when I like to have snow.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
reminds me
You
of
want to have
home
a
and
white
everything.
Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. After that, I have no use for cold weather or snow or anything like that. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, in Virginia, it never fails. You go through
Let me tell you
Christmas and
this.
New Year's, and then right after that, right after New Year's, that's the first thing that hits us. The weather will come in, it'll drop below freezing, we'll get snow, we'll get freezing rain, and it'll be miserable until March.
I was just going to say, let me tell you this story real quick. The snow can be fun too. You can go
Oh,
sledding
yeah.
or snowmobiling and stuff like that. And I can recall when I was a teenager, a young teenager, uh, well, uh, we were in the car. My dad's driving. We're driving down the road, and here's these snowmobiles. We're going down the road about 50 miles an hour, and here's these snowmobiles running alongside the road,
Hmm.
doing the same speed we are,
Oh,
and some
yeah.
of them were even passing us up. And my mother turned to my dad and she says, I'd like to have one of those. That looks like a lot of fun. And my dad said, hell, I got to work in that stuff. The hell if I'm going to play in it too.
Right. Yep.
But he ended up giving in the next winter. My mom got herself a snowmobile. Well, my dad bought it for her
Yep.
and let her go out and play in it. And then he started playing around on it. And he realized how much fun it was. And as the years went on, we ended up with a whole garage full of snowmobiles. About 4 or 5 snowmobiles, and it is fun. It is a lot of fun. And where
Oh,
we were
yeah.
at, we could ride for miles and miles.
Yep.
Uh, out because we were like in the farthest west suburb of Chicago, out there where there's a group of houses surrounded by cornfields.
I got you.
So yeah, it was, and then we had a river too, and it would always get really cold, and that river would freeze over,
Freeze over. Yep.
and we'd actually hold drag race competitions on that river with snowmobiles. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Being
Not
from
to
New
mention,
England.
you take kids out in the snow and go sledding, and that's a lot of fun.
Yep.
But yeah, but in spite of all that, I still don't miss it. I mean, we got jet skis down here, so that kind of takes the
Oh,
place
there
of a
you go.
snowmobile.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, like I said, being from New England, that was what were you talking about with the being on the roads and on even on the highway. A lot of times you would that was a common thing to see in the wintertime was the snowmobiles
yeah,
running right beside you. Sometimes, like you said, even going faster than what you're going.
yeah.
And as a kid, I had an old Ski Doo,
Oh yeah.
1960s or 70s. Which was a nice little thing. And a friend of my father's, he was big into snowmobiles and everything, and he used to race them. He got on it, and he said, "Well, it's not bad, but it needs some work." I was too young at the time to know anything about it, but the next season when I got on that thing, it scared me.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh
that
yeah.
thing was screaming.
Well, it started the snowmobile that my father bought for my mother was only a 250 cc, and then the next year my dad bought himself a 340. He started riding around on that, and then he bought an and because he could outrun my mother wanted a faster one. So the next year he bought her a 340, and then the next year he bought himself a 440. And then they came out with like a 535. He had to have that one because it was the fastest one that they made.
Oh, I
The whole
got
thing
you.
it did just that. It snowballed out of control
Yep.
because you just got to have the fastest one that they make.
Well, look,
So,
old Eric there. They had snow on the 24th in the morning,
yeah.
and then later it got too warm and
Yeah.
it melted. Yeah, I understand that too. It's kind of a bummer, man, when that happens.
Yeah. I
But
remember, gosh, I was only 4 years old. I was four, my older brother was five, and my sister was six. And we got bicycles for Christmas. We got these Ross bicycles, the Stingray style
yep,
bicycles. This is in the 60s,
yep.
like 1965, I think it was. And matter of fact, I've still got on digital video discs transferred over the old home movies of that particular Christmas of us getting our bikes. And here's the thing. I remember this. It was so warm that Christmas morning, we was able to take our bikes out and go ride them, you know?
Well, that's awesome because I remember a couple times, twice, getting a bike for Christmas,
Yeah.
and there's 3 feet of snow outside. I'm like, really, really?
Well, you
Uh,
can't control the weather, but
no.
and here's another interesting story. I got to tell you this real quick. This is when I'm already like, oh, I don't know, 22, 23 years old. Now, my parents had started with this snowmobile thing, and they ended up becoming members of a big club, you know, and all kinds of stuff. And they were going to have a New Year's Day meet for the club, and part of the meeting was it was just people hanging out in a big ballroom, drinking and eating and having a good time is what it was really all about.
Oh, I
And
got you.
talk about the agenda of the snowmobile club because they do all kinds of stuff, uh, including helping out like first responders, you know, EMSs and stuff like that. In fact, there's
Yep.
another story I'll tell you about. My dad uh, helped the police chief out one evening uh, by helping a pregnant woman get to the hospital, and they had to do it on snowmobiles.
Oh God. Yeah.
But anyway, here's the thing. So my mother, being a member of the club, she's going around selling these raffle tickets to give you a chance at winning a brand new snowmobile, you know. And they were $10 a ticket. I figured for $10, you know, take a chance. I think
Oh
I
yeah.
bought 2 tickets. I gave her $20. But here was the thing. Here was the catch to it. You had to be present at the meeting in order to claim your prize.
Oh,
And
okay.
that was printed right on the ticket, you know. So I went to it. Now here's the thing. So I show up at my parents' house because I think I'm going to ride with them to this meeting. No, I had to drive myself because the weather was so warm that New Year's Day that my parents went to the snowmobile meeting on their motorcycle.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, in Virginia, there's been quite a few years that I've rode the bike all year long. You know, it got a little cold, but
yeah,
there wasn't anything. You know, no ice, no snow. They were pretty dry
but
and
that's one
mild
thing you
winters.
learn. You buy yourself a snowmobile suit and go ride your
Yeah.
motorcycle. That'll
Yeah.
keep you warm. You'd be
Yep.
surprised how warm those things are.
Oh yeah. I've had a few. I've had a few, and they're nice
I've
too
even worked
because
in them, you know.
I used to, I'd get them a little bit big for me. That
Yeah,
way, I just put them right over a
yep,
bunch of other
over.
layers too.
Yeah,
And yeah, yeah, it was nice. Yeah, they made a big difference on the bike. Matter of fact, I had a heated one
oh
that
yeah.
yeah, well, I screwed up though because it wasn't one that came with the battery pack or anything. You're
Mhm.
supposed to plug it into something, 12-volt off the bike or battery.
Right.
I didn't have the plug set up, and then I never got it set up on the bike, so I don't know how well that worked. Although even without it being heated, it was still nice. It was good. It was like a Gore-Tex outside, so no
Yeah.
wind was getting through,
Yep.
and it was nice.
Yep.
Unfortunately, my horizons have expanded, and even though I did buy it a little big for me, it don't fit anymore.
Yeah.
I,
Yes.
yeah.
I when I was moving all my stuff, I had a bunch of clothes in a back closet that were perfectly good clothes that I knew damn well I wasn't going to be able to fit into anymore. And it's funny how time slips away from you. You know, they're perfectly good jeans and shirts
Oh
and stuff
yeah.
that I knew that I wasn't going to fit in. Because I tell you what, I was skinny when I first met my wife. I only weighed like 150 pounds when we first met,
Oh my
and it,
God. Yeah.
you know, so I was tall and skinny. You know,
Yeah. Well, I used to be short and skinny. Now I look a little bit more like a weeble. But yeah, I mean, my God, yeah, all during high school and everything, I maybe weighed a buck 35, and
yeah,
even the most I ever weighed and was in shape is when I was in the service. I literally went in weighing about 150 pounds And when I got through with basic, I came out weighing almost 170 pounds,
Uh,
but I also dropped one pant size
yeah.
around the waist.
Yep. Because muscle tissue is heavier than fat tissue.
Yeah.
You build muscle, you'll get heavier and lose inches.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. Now I'm pushing 185. And yeah, I went up to 2 pant sizes, and yeah, it's not a whole lot of muscle there. Yeah.
I think at my heaviest I was 185, and I was heavy.
Yep.
And that's when I realized that I was just letting myself go. So I quit doing that, and I got back down to about 175. And then when my wife passed away, I ended up losing a lot of weight because I wasn't eating or doing anything.
Yeah.
And I got all the way down to like 150, 149, something like that. I was getting back skinny because I wasn't eating or doing anything right. Wasn't taking care of myself.
Yeah.
But once I got past that point, I started putting weight back on. I think I'm like 168, 170, something like that right now. So
Yeah. Well, I've been bouncing between 180, 185 for the last 10 years. So I don't want to do too much different, because with the price of clothes right now, I don't want to either have to buy new, bigger sizes or go back and try and buy smaller sizes.
Yeah, don't get me started on prices, boy.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I
Jesus.
just keep going off. I'm trying to. This whole move was just about that, having to cut costs. You know, but I just can't seem to evade it. If I get rid of one expense, I acquire another one.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, and like for instance, having to pay rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't have that before, and now I've got that.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, I'm leasing 2 different properties at the same time. So,
oh, good Lord, yeah.
So I'm leasing one property just as a place for me to stay temporarily until I get this other property up and running. I don't even have electricity in there yet. And here's how it's going for me. I went back and forth between the power company and the county inspections and permits, and they'll just keep you hopping left and right.
Yeah.
Running back and forth, and I'm like, screw this. I'm not, because it comes down to you still need to hire a licensed electrician anyway.
Yep.
So, and I know how that works. So I just called the electrician company here in town that I know is accustomed to dealing with the power company and the inspections and permits. I just put it all in their hands. So, you guys do it. But before it's all said and done, I'm still going to be $3,000 into just getting power put on that property, but it'll be worth it in the long run, because once I get the power in there, then I can start building and doing things and doing what it is I want to do. I want to do one more project, or maybe a couple of projects. I'm looking for an old car to work on. I got this old Chevy engine. I don't know. I'll probably find an old pickup truck to put it in or something. Who knows,
There you go.
Been talking with some other guys that are on YouTube. There's one fella up in northern Alabama. He's got a real nice little 65 Pontiac that I think is really cool. It's a convertible. I think it's a Tempest. It could be a Tempest. It could be a Le Mans.
Okay.
But that's a pretty nice looking little car. He wants a kind of a steep price for it, but it is a nice car. And I'm a Pontiac guy. I'm just, so the idea of going out with one more project, it would have to be a Pontiac.
Yeah, there you go.
There's another guy up in Ohio that all he does, he specializes in building high performance Pontiac engines. He even makes all of his own parts. He makes his own heads. He makes his own intake manifolds. He even has an aluminum block if you can afford it,
Yeah.
all Pontiac stuff, so that's something that I'm considering doing too. It'd be kind of neat to, because I'm really into the sleeper cars. I like cars that don't look like they should be fast, but are really fast,
Yep. I got you.
I didn't even wash the dirt off of the Pontiac that I do have,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just keep it looking dirty. And busted ass, broken down looking car, it'll just scoot,
I got you. That's kind of the cars that I grew up with because my folks would always get the old state police cars, because
Yeah,
they'd only run them for back then in the 70s. They'd only
yeah,
run them for a year or two up in where we're from.
yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, they were a little beat on, but they would surprise you because, it looked like a regular your 4-door sedan and
Yeah.
everything. And then all of a sudden, you know, you get into it and that thing would hop and just go.
Well,
That was back when
you know,
they all had the police interceptor engines in them and all the
right,
extra
right.
suspension
I
and
uh,
everything.
I remember this that because, like I said, I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and my parents we had a summer home up in Wisconsin, and we would drive up to Wisconsin just about every weekend and a couple of weeks out of the summer. And I remember in 1977, the Wisconsin State Police ended up getting these Pontiac the Grand Am
Yep.
with police interceptor packages, and you knew that there was hundreds of those cars that the state of Wisconsin had. I'd love to be able to find an old 77 Grand Am or Can Am. It was an old Wisconsin State Police car because those things ran.
Oh yeah.
It was they even had the shaker hood scoop on them like the Trans Ams do,
Yep.
And that they had to been bigger than just 400. They were probably still using 455s for them back then.
Yep.
For the police cars anyway. So, and like I said, there's got to be hundreds of them.
Oh yeah.
So they got to be around somewhere. You
Yep.
find them in some Wisconsin junkyard. So, not to mention, I like to just get the engine blocks out of them because that they're going to be Super Duty blocks. That's what they did.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, my God, yeah. A
that
lot of
would
things
be an idea.
we never thought twice about, took for granted.
Yep.
Looked at them and
Mhm.
said, no, I don't want that. I'd rather have something else, something that looks cool. Now, as we're
I
older, we're like,
remember the
man,
day.
there's a lot of cool cars back then I'd love to have right now that we didn't think were cool at the time.
Yep. I remember the day that GM had made the announcements that they weren't going to make any more big blocks, and they didn't for a long time. And that was like, that was probably about 1977
Yeah.
when they made that announcement. And sure enough, matter of fact, GM said not only were they not going to make any more big blocks, they weren't going to do Pontiac engines and Oldsmobile engines and Chevy engines. It was going to be just one engine.
Yeah.
And that came to fruition by the 80s. Hold on a second, my cat's got to come in. She's trying to get in the door.
I got you. Matter of fact, what a coincidence. I got to do the same thing.
Something scared her. She wanted to come back in the house. I did hear a gunshot earlier. Just one single gunshot. I wonder what that was all about.
Yeah.
Normally, if you hear a gunshot around here, it's somebody's taking target practice. So you'll keep hearing gunshots repeatedly. But one single gunshot means that they're trying to shoot something,
Yeah. Yeah.
like an animal or something. But it is still deer hunting season here. So, and I am out in the backwoods. So to get a gunshot, to hear a gunshot is commonplace.
I got you. I was, matter of fact, me and my brother-in-law were just going through my deep freeze Friday because I was making a grocery list too, and I'm like, man, let me check and see what's in the deep freeze. And I'll tell you what, I still have about oh my God, I got to have at least 200 pounds of venison in there. I still got about a quarter of a cow left, and about half a pig left in there. A big ass thing of bacon. Yeah, not sliced, but it's been cured.
Yeah,
and
right.
Yeah, I'd forgotten because I haven't really gone into the freezer much, and I forgot all about it. So yeah, I went through there Matter of fact, pulled out some hamburger and some sausage. I had 20 pounds of each, and of course, like idiots, we've been going to the store and picking up, a couple pounds of hamburger here and there, never even thinking that yeah, I had 20 pounds of hamburger in the freezer. They're all fresh from a pig that was slaughtered last year. Oh, yeah, and a cow. I'm sorry, cow that was slaughtered last year too. Got both a pig and a cow.
I'm reading that. How do you pronounce that name? Any idea? Last name is Halverson.
Oh, Eric. Yeah, he's from.
Is it
Oh
Eric?
my God, I want to say Norway, Eric. If
Yeah, well, that's
I'm
what he's
sorry.
saying.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I.
Every car in Norway is a Volvo, isn't it? But yeah, I can believe that. I can believe they would have
Yep.
had some beefed up ones.
Yep. No doubt. No
I've never
doubt.
been to Europe though, but I imagine they got to have open roads somewhere. But that's the beautiful part about being here in America. You got wide open roads.
Oh yeah. 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 No, the only times I've ever been overseas, um, I got shot at, and so it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want to leave the United States. Although, to be honest with you, I've been shot at more, but not hit in
Yeah,
the United States. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. I came from the Chicagoland area. Hell, I had to get out of there because it's just getting too crazy.
oh,
Too
I hear
much of
you.
that kind of stuff. You can't you can't trust yourself. I mean, you can't trust it to. You can be walking down the street and catch a stray bullet in that damn town.
Yeah.
So, and it's no better or worse anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, really, it is. And any big city you get to is really really
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I mean, it's just I don't know. That's I live too close to the city now. Uh, in my opinion, 20 years ago, this place has been built up real big in the last
uh-huh,
20 years. Where even just in my neighborhood, half the woods are gone. And there's new
yeah,
little cookie cutter houses out there,
yeah,
and I mean, just the whole area. And I'm talking thousands of acres that used to be woods and or
yeah,
wetlands and everything. They filled them all in, and now it's a huge. We got
yeah,
three new huge. I can't call them strip malls, but they're just shopping centers that go
yeah,
on for a couple miles,
yeah, yeah.
and it's unreal.
There was a road in my hometown. It was called Randall Road. It went north and south, and that was almost like the dividing line between urbanization and rural,
Yep.
literally. And that on the east side of the street was all shopping centers and hospitals and homes and everything. And on the other side of the road was nothing but cornfields for as far as the eye could see.
Oh God. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
it's there's no more cornfields. It's just more urban sprawl going
Yep.
way out, like where my sister lives. My sister and her husband, the house that they got that house because it was out in the country, out in the cornfields where it was quiet. Now that whole area is all developed up. That you got to go another 10 miles west of them before you're even in the country again.
Oh yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, consumerism doesn't want you to have a freezer. No, they don't. They also don't want you to have a garden. Uh, they don't want you to collect rainwater on your own property.
Yeah, go
That's a
figure.
subject we've talked about before. And I mean, they're even starting to in Massachusetts. They're starting to tax you for
Yeah,
the
Texas
rainwater,
people. Yeah.
rainwater coming off your property,
Mm.
and you're still not
Yeah,
allowed to collect it, even though you're paying for it.
yeah. That's I can remember when I was in the Chicagoland area that something that had happened. They were taxing you to flush your toilet, and how they were going to do it was because they couldn't monitor how much wastewater you were, because there's no way to meter that. They
Right.
just taxed you by how much water you use,
Yep.
and
That's
they
exactly
charge
what they
an
do in
extra
Virginia.
septic. It's a septic tax, based on
Yep.
how much water you use.
Yep.
So it was
That's
an
exactly
additional
what.
tax on top of your water bill, on top of the state sales tax as well.
Yep. And here's the kicker. Uh, and I'll have to look at the water bill myself. The wife pays the water bill, so I hardly ever see it. But I know that, let's say for example, they charge you oh 3 cents a gallon for what comes in. Okay.
Right,
Well, then they also charge you 8 cents a gallon for what goes out. The only thing is they can't monitor. So
right.
basically they just charge you 11 cents a gallon,
Yeah,
but
right.
they break it up. And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
break it down like that.
look, I understand because we're on city sewer, you have to pay for cleaning the water, it's not just
Yeah,
septic. I understand that, but just because I use 50 gallons a day doesn't mean I'm flushing 50 gallons down the drain.
yeah,
Matter of
yeah,
fact, 40 of that gallons could be washing the car, watering the lawn,
yeah.
or just having the grandkids play in the sprinkler system. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Yeah,
So you don't have to treat that water. Nature does it itself.
yeah.
You know,
And they probably won't let you do a well there either, will they?
no, not anymore, not anymore. And where I'm at, originally this place is called Highland Springs
Uh-huh,
because the water table is incredible, and every house around here used to have well water.
uh-huh.
All right, and of course that's before it got really built up. And
Yeah,
I mean, the water table is high enough you could actually hand dig a well and still have a reliable water source. Okay, you don't have to go very deep. But no, they decided that that's not allowed anymore. You have to be on city water.
yeah. It, this town here that's closest to me, uh, they had just passed that, where well, they just won't permit any more wells in town. Hold on a second. That if you're in the city limits, they just won't grant you a permit to run a well anymore.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, even
So
the ones here are not
they're
grandfathered in. If you were actually, I think it was 10 years ago, I heard about this. If you actually had a house that had well and you had well water and everything was fine, and you do your testing and nothing's wrong with the water or anything, you
they
still
still want
had
to
to hook
plug up.
up to city water. You had no
Yeah, that's
choice.
crazy. That's communism right there, buddy. That
Yeah.
ain't free enterprise.
No.
But around here, it's just the policy of the water company, which it's a privately held company. It's not a government entity at all. But they still, if you have a well on your property, they will not give you uh, supplied water. Uh, in order to get their water, you have to, if you have a well, they want you to pull it all up and backfill it with concrete and everything else.
Oh, good
But
Lord.
they can't enforce that.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're a private company, you know. So, but why would you want to do that anyway? I mean, I thought it was a good idea at one point because here's the thing about well water and being here in Florida. If you go through a hurricane and you lose power for a week, well, and you're on a well, you don't have water either,
Yep.
you know. So the thought process being that at least
Yep.
I can have water being piped in. Well, they wouldn't do it because I had a well on my property, you know.
I got
So
you. Well, I was fortunate. About 20 years ago, we were living in a house that was hooked up to city water, hooked up to city sewer, and everything. But it was an old, old, old house built in the 1800s,
uh,
late 1800s, and it had a nice well. It had a nice well. Had the old well house around it as well, and but it had been disconnected. Now we used the well and the pump on the well and everything. I used that for everything outdoors. I used it
Right.
to fill the pool. I used it to water the garden, water the grass, wash the cars, and everything. Because the only thing that cost me was, like you said, the electricity for the pump.
To run the pump. Yep.
And but we did have a problem. We had a hurricane, and for whatever reason, that screwed up the water and everything. I think there was a few pipes that broke or something. So we were out of water for about a week. Well, the plumbing on that house was so old that it didn't have any check valves in it.
Right.
Okay. So all I did was I actually literally ran a garden hose from the spigot on the well to one of the spigots in the house on the side of the house, and I backfed the system.
Right.
I turned, of course, I turned the outside, the main off and everything. We had to do that anyway because it was almost like raw sewage coming through. It was nasty. And but yeah, that was. I mean, the pressure wasn't that great, but it was good
But at least you
enough.
had water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good enough that we could do dishes. And the water itself, I mean, it was good spring, fresh water. Better, to be honest with you, I thought it was a lot better than the damn city water coming through with all the fluoride and all the chemicals and everything you could taste in it. It was good water. But
That's the same here. The water that I've got here at this place that I'm renting, this is supplied water. And that's the first thing I noticed when I turn on the faucets. I can smell the chlorine in it.
Yep.
But that's only because I'm sensitive to the smell, because I went so many years, some 20 years with well water where you don't smell that.
Right. Exactly.
So, but listen, I think I'm going to get off of here and go get myself something to eat. I'm starving to death. I haven't had breakfast yet.
All right, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna shut this down too, because I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of being cold. I want to go back in the house.
Yeah.
But hey, it was good to hear from you. And my sister Carol says hi. I know she's been asking about you and everything. So I'll let her know.
Here's something else that you may have noticed. I shaved off my beard.
Yeah.
It always seemed like my beard grew really fast, but I never really made note of when was the last time I shaved and how long the growth is. So this is what I did on New Year's Eve. I shaved off my beard, knowing that New Year's Day would be the first day without a shave, and we'll see how long it takes to grow the beard.
Oh, I gotcha. See, I keep mine short anyway, and
well, I try to keep it short, but I screw it up every time. I end up with big dents, and then I end up shaving it all off and start all over. And that's what. And besides, it was the beard that I did have was looking kind of raggy.
So I gotcha.
I figured that this would be what I would do. I'd shave it off so that I know that New Year's Day would be the first day without a shave, and let's see how long it takes it to grow back.
There you go. Yeah, normally for me it takes about 10 days for it to get back looking normal, because I usually keep it so short. And then it takes about another week or so before I have to hit it with the trimmer. So about 3 weeks for me before I'm back into, trimming it.
I'm thinking mine takes about a month, but we'll find out. We'll find out a month from now. So,
all right.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to get off the line here then.
All right, man. You take care. It's good talking.
We'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
And for everyone else too, yeah, I'm gonna call it quits. I'm cold. I'm cold. My feet are cold, and so I'm going back in the house where it's warm. And y'all have yourselves a good day. I hope you all had a good holiday, and I hope the new year is good for you. But y'all take care. I have got to go warm up. We'll catch you next time. If I can remember how to close out. It's been a while.